2nd November, remember that date, because this is now going to be etched in the history of India. Remember how I've said history of India, not history of Indian women's cricket, not history of Indian cricket, but history of India. Because what the girls in blue have achieved is going to open doors not just for girls who want to play sport, but for girls in all walks of life. Because what Harmanpreet and co have shown is that Indian women now are the best in the business. Of course, we've had world champions in the past when it comes to the sporting arena from women's sport. But in cricket, which is, of course, as you know, a religion in our country, the women's team always fell short. They weren't even in the top category. They were up against England, Australia in the past, and you never considered them even at that level. And that is something what this team has achieved. Just imagine the kind of pressure they would be carrying. This was their third final. No team in the history of the Women's World Cup had made 3 finals and not won a title. If the Indian women would have failed here at this hurdle, knives would have been out. The narrative of, listen, you get all facilities, you get all the money that you want, everything is given to you just like it's given to the men's team, but the men's team has won, you can't do that. That would have been always hanging like a sword over their head. Now the monkey is off their back, and what a magnificent tournament they've had. You know, many are comparing it to the 1983 World Cup win, which the men's team achieved. So they're calling it the 83 moment for women's cricket. And there is some truth to that. And I'm not saying it because it's the first World Cup title for the women's team and 83 was the first World Cup title for the men's team. I think there are more parallels, more similarities, because in 83 as well, you were the underdogs. No one really gave you a chance. And similarly, this Indian team wasn't in the top 2 or the top 3 teams. They were the outsiders. They were playing at home. Remember last World Cup, they did not even make the semi-final. So the pressure was definitely on them. They were the underdogs, just as the 83 team. And then other parallels, 83 as well. They reached a situation where it was a do-or-die game versus Zimbabwe. Similar thing happened here. Remember, India had hiccups. They lost to Australia in the league games. They lost to England in the league games. They lost to South Africa in the league games. They were on the verge of being knocked out, not even making it to the semi-final. Must-win game versus New Zealand, just as the men's team had versus Zimbabwe. They won that game, and then they had an outstanding final, had an outstanding semi-final as well to ensure that they are the world champions. So a lot of parallels that I can see from that 83 triumph. That 83 triumph changed the whole landscape of cricket in India. I think this is also going to do that. But let's just focus on the final. Couple of things that really stand out. Firstly, and I think this is a sign of a great team, it's so tough to pick the player of the match. I know officially it's been given to Shafali Verma. You ask me, I would have given it to Deepti Sharma. Why? She gets that crucial 58, batting lower down the order, and then picks a 5-wicket haul. No person, even across Australia, England, Australia that have won 7 titles, has there been a player that has scored a 50 as well as taken more than 4 wickets in a final of a World Cup? Deepti did that. So that really stands out. I agree. Shafali playing that 87-run knock, then picking up those crucial wickets was special. It really helped. But what Deepti did, for me, of course, the man of the match. Of course, she's been given the player of the tournament as well. Not just the player of the match which went to Shafali, but player of the tournament, simply because look at Deepti's contribution, not only with the bat, where she had some cameos batting lower down the order. She's ended up with 22 wickets, head and shoulders above even this person who's in the second position with 17 wickets. So see that difference. That's how good Deepti was with the ball. She's a good fielder as well. And of course, with the bat on crucial occasions, she's chipped in just as she chipped in the final as well as the semi-final. A word on Shafali too. I must say, nerves of steel. Imagine her story. We were talking about India's story. Imagine Shafali's story. Wasn't even part of this squad. Was playing domestic cricket. Pratika Rawal gets injured. Blow to the Indian team. Shafali comes in, gets to play the semi-final. Underwhelming performance. But the team backs her. Plays the final, and what an 87 she got for the team. And then I'm talking about team not just backing him, getting her into the team. But what is it that Harmanpreet Kaur did today? South Africa was stitching together a partnership, threw the ball to Shafali, at best a part-time bowler, gets that wicket. In fact, 2 wickets for her captain. So I'd say inspirational leadership as well for Harmanpreet Kaur. And I think that is the standout feature of this team. Throughout this tournament, they've had on occasions somebody or the other step up. You see how the tournament started. They had a hiccup versus Sri Lanka. Amanjot, their all-rounder, stepped up on that occasion and ensured that they won their game. Later on, for many games, you had Richa Ghosh coming in with crucial contribution with the bat, putting up a total. You had hiccups, as I mentioned, those 3 losses, but you had somebody or the other putting their hands up. And then you reached that crucial stage. Smriti by that time had caught some form. Crucial match, must-win match versus New Zealand. Smriti Mandhana steps up. Pratika Rawal steps up with a magnificent 100. So somewhere or the other, there was a player that was chipping in. Harmanpreet Kaur comes in the semi-final. Jemimah Rodrigues comes in the semi-final to be a hero. Shafali in the final alongside Deepti. As I said, that is a hallmark. That's the other thing that compares this team to the 83 team. Somebody or the other put their hand up on a given situation and said that I'll take you across the line. On this final, there were 2 crucial moments, I think turning points that we must talk about. One, that run out of Brits. Again, Amanjot, she is the one who stepped up that run out. There was a good partnership. Had that opening partnership went on for some time, probably India would have found it tough to contain the South African team below the 298 that they got. So that run out, crucial against the run of play, a turning point. And I think again, another turning point where Amanjot again comes into play, where she takes the catch off the bowling of Deepti. Laura Woolhart, the captain of South Africa, has just reached 100. She's ensuring that she'll take the team across the line, but they get her wicket as well. These were the 2 crucial points that ensured that the Indian team goes across the line. It's going to be a night for everyone to remember, and I think I'll leave you with one thought, and that will be the biggest contribution of what this team has achieved, is that tomorrow morning, I'm sure there'll be girls across the country, so many of them, that will pick up a bat and a ball and give cricket a shot. And that is how things change. That's how you bring about a revolution. And that is what this particular victory will do to women's cricket and women's sport in particular. Do give us a like on the video if you've enjoyed our content. Share it with your friends who might have some other thoughts about this win and maybe insights to share with us in the comment section. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today.